You're listening to the Payload Podcast, brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles, Motor Carriers Services. Hi, welcome to the Payload Podcast, brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles and the Motor Carrier Services Division. We're here to bring you news, information, and updates for the South Carolina trucking community. And it's my pleasure today to be joined by Kate Rockvo, one of the trainers from the Motor Carrier Services Division. Thank you for joining us today, Kate.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Kate's here today to talk with us a little bit about IFTA and IRP. If you're part of the trucking community, I'm sure those initials are very familiar with you. But also with the IFTA and IRP about workshops that the training division is going to be presenting that are carrier facing, that are going to be training and instruction for them. A little something different for the DMV there, where it seems like a lot of our training is internal. We'll be able to present some of this external to the industry. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what all is involved in that. But first off, could you kind of give us some insight of how it originated and the idea for these workshops came about, Kate?
So we actually received a grant, and the purpose of the grant was to provide education and information to the South Carolina trucking community. So what we've been doing is we've been trying to gather information about what would be helpful by listening to what kinds of questions the truckers have been asking in the branch offices and also in our Motor Carrier Information Center, so that we can better address those questions. We've also been looking into different aspects of IFTA and IRP that we think would be helpful to elaborate on. And we're working on a walkthrough of the Celtic trucking portal to make that more accessible for the truckers as well.
Great. So it seems like you kind of took some information that you received from different sources, compiled that a little bit, look for maybe what are some pain points for the industry, and trying to see if we can help them kind of get over the hump with some of those pain points. And maybe those would be on how to actually go into Celtic and transact a supplement or fill out paperwork or what paperwork they might actually need, and just to help them get a better understanding of the process start to finish. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We've developed a complete workshop in order to do that.
So inside of that workshop, components would be visual aids to help them understand what we're doing, maybe showing some of those forms, maybe some type of interactive polling and helping answer some questions they might have there. Possibly even, will they be able to see the video format or something of transactions actually being done so they can know what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. We have video walkthroughs of several commonly performed transactions, in addition to poll questions, interactive activities, everything you just mentioned and more.
Excellent. So specifically when they get into these workshops, what are some of the topics that you're going to be discussing that you did find these pain points or feel like it's something you can educate the community on?
So we're trying to reach a wide range of knowledge base because we have truckers that have been in the business for years. And then we have people who are brand new that maybe don't even have a CDL yet. So we're trying to address issues on that entire spectrum. So some of the things that we've included in our workshop are how to apply for a CDL, upcoming changes to the CDL exams, IFTA, IRP, how to apply for IFTA and IRP accounts, how to access and manage your trucking portal online so you can stay on the roads instead of sitting in a DMV all day. Sure. And we also talk about things like audit and UCR, which tend to be kind of scary topics for truckers, but our goal is to make that a little bit more accessible, understandable. They're not as scary as they sound. Sure,
especially, in the community out there, if they see the word audit, sometimes that kind of throws up a red flag to them and understand the purpose of it and why it's there. I think we can ease some of those tensions through these workshops. That'd be a great thing. So I'm guessing, too, that probably somewhere during it, there's going to be a question and answer period where if they're sitting in this workshop and it inspires some thought to them or something that they have a specific question about, they'll be able to have a time to ask that of our training people that'll be there?
Yeah, of course, we want to address as many questions as possible during the workshop itself. Sure. But at the end of each workshop, we do have a Q&A portion where any information that may have sparked a question or a specific situation that they want to have addressed during the workshop, they can ask that and we can address that specifically.
Great. So prior to the workshop, as you're putting this information together, if there's somebody out there listening and they want to get some type of a question to you beforehand that maybe they would like to see involved and addressed inside of these workshops, how can they do that?
So our sign-in sheet, our registration sheet, it's a digital link. You can sign up for any of our 5 workshops. And one of the questions on that registration sheet is if you have any questions, you can ask them there. That way we know exactly which workshop to address which questions at. So if you have those questions ahead of time, we would love to hear them.
Yeah, that'd be great. So they can actually say, which workshop I'd like to go to, and you can specifically address that right to them directly. That's great. So when we are looking at this, it just seems like an incredible opportunity, whether you're the seasoned pro out there, you've been on the road for a lot of years, or you're the brand new person, as you said, maybe doesn't even have a CDL, looking to break into the business, or maybe you're even a newer carrier, a newer driver, and you just want to get more information and be better at what you do. I think these workshops are going to be able to reach so many people with that information. So on those workshops, could you tell me where you're planning to host those at and kind of how many you have planned and everything?
Yeah, I think I said we have 5 workshops all throughout the state in different regions. Our very first one is July 11th, so it's coming up. And that's going to be over in the PD region in Conway at Horry County Memorial Library.
Okay.
Then our next workshop will be on July 20th. We're going all the way upstate to Anderson, and that will be held at the Anderson Library. Then we're bringing it back down to the Midlands in Aiken on August 10th, and that will be held at the Aiken Public Safety Training Facility. And then we bring it all the way down south to Low Country in Bluffton, and that's going to be on August 17th at the Bluffton Library. And then we're coming back home to Blythewood at the SCDMV headquarters on September 13th for a special workshop with a panel. And that panel is going to be made up of DMV and industry professionals that can provide unique insight into the road to come.
Okay. So that panel will kind of be discussing, maybe what the future of the trucking industry looks like when we talk the evolution of electric vehicles and a lot of different things. Maybe be able to talk about some legislation that's out there pending and that affects the community. I think it'll be great. So where could somebody go? That was a lot of information right there. Where could they go to find actually out, those dates and register for one of those workshops? Where can they get more information of that at?
We have a sign up link for registration on the public facing SCDMV website, www.scdmvonline.com. If you go to the trucking portal, you can actually just click that link and register.
So those are some great locations. Again, I noticed you've placed those strategically around the state of South Carolina. So they're kind of in a region for anybody who wants to attend one to be able to do so. And I tell you what we'll do at the end of this podcast, we'll also post a list of all those locations and the dates and the information for those. Now, what's the time frame each day for those?
Every workshop begins at 9 a.m. and it goes until about 4 p.m. And we'll have about an hour lunch break and a couple 15-minute breaks thrown in there just to break up the day. Okay, so they can kind of get an idea of the commitment of time, but I think it's going to be such a valuable chunk of information they're going to be able to get from that time spent there. But we'll put that information up as well as a QR code that you guys have, and they'll be able to scan that QR code with their camera on their phone. And in doing so, would take them right to that registration page, correct? Yeah.
Okay, and they can sign up for any of those workshops they want to do. Kate, is there anything else before we go that you'd like to add here today?
Yeah, just that seating's limited, so be sure to register early.
Okay, well, that is great. We appreciate you joining us today. In closing, again, we thank you and the team there at the DMV for what they're doing to support the trucking community out there. We're glad to know how we can attend it, how you can register for these workshops for IFTA and IRP. Looking forward to the information and the feedback we're going to get afterwards about how valuable our carrier in the community out there found it. So once again, the information on registration will be posted at the end of this video. We encourage you, if you're out there in the community and you want more information on IFTA or IRP, or just some of the transactions, or how to become a truck driver or a carrier in the state, please attend one of these workshops. So thank you again for tuning in with us. Thank you, Kate, for joining us here today. And until next time, remember, we are South Carolina, and you can go anywhere from here.